In the headlines, ADC suspends presidential candidate Kachiku over alleged misconduct. Bandits invade mosque, abduct deputy chief imam and dozens of worshippers in Zamfara. Fuel tanker fire razes 10 buildings in Ogun State. And on the foreign scene, Putin absent as thousands of Russians bid farewell to last Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Nten Ekpan. And on the news in full, the African Democratic Congress, the ADC, has suspended its presidential candidate, Jumebi Kachiku, from the party. In a statement issued Saturday and signed by the party's Deputy National Chairman Politics, Bamidele Ajadi, the party accused Kachiku of false, misguided and defamatory video he made and circulated among other infractions. Ajadi revealed that the decision was taken after an emergency National Working Committee meeting held on Friday, 2nd of September 2022. The party noted that Kachiku's speech in the said video contravened the principles and values upon which ADC was founded and the specific provisions of Article 16 of the ADC Constitution. Ajadi noted that the National Working Committee strongly believes that to demean the character of the founding fathers and financiers of ADC who have worked tirelessly to build an enviable brand that Nigerians are proud of and which many great minds have stood elections under smacks of gross indiscipline. Ogun State governorship candidate of the People's Redemption Party, PRP, in the forthcoming general election, David Bangboshe, is dead. Bangboshe died 7 days after the party presented him as its flag bearer. His personal assistant, Odutron Olayemi, who confirmed the sudden death, explained that Bangboshe earlier complained of weakness and was taken to a private hospital in the Olomore area of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Olayemi, who is a senior pastor at Peace and Love Church, said the hospital management thereafter referred him to the Federal Medical Center Idiaba in Abeokuta, but later died at the Sacred Heart Hospital, Lantoro, where he was rushed to. Bangboshe was last Saturday officially presented by his party at a press conference held at Iweroyin Press Center in Abeokuta, where he described himself as the best choice to govern the state in 2023. Former President Goodluck Jonathan on Saturday urged young people to reject those trying to divide the country with ethnic and religious politics ahead of the 2023 elections. President Jonathan stated this in Owerri at the 80th birthday symposium of Chief Emmanuel Iwanyao. Jonathan noted that Nigeria's politics is steeped in ethnicity and religion to the detriment of the country and the collective roots of Nigerians, adding that such should make way for the new. He noted that if Nigerians collectively work together and accommodate their differences, they can build a nation where everyone would have a sense of belonging. The Osun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, says the expulsion of a governorship aspirant of the party in the state, Dotun Babayem, is within the ambit of the law. The secretary of the party in the state, Hashim Abioye, who doubles as the secretary of the Osun PDP Legal Committee, stated this in an exclusive interview with Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade in Oshogbo on Saturday. Abioye said Babayemi has ceased to be a member of the PDP in Osun because of his anti-party activities.
Expulsion is one of the sanctions that could be meted out to any erring member of the party under the PDP's constitution. So it's a matter of constitutionality, and the appropriate executive committee in the ward from Ayedade local government, where President Babayemi initially belonged, has taken the bold step by expelling him from the party. So there was a petition against him, and I think the executive member of the party in Ward 2, that is his ward from Aida, they set up a disciplinary committee, and the disciplinary committee made their findings and recommendations that they've established anti-party activities against Prince Dr. Babayemi and that he should be expelled, and so be it. So as far as the leadership of the party in the state or at any level is concerned, Prince Dr. Babayemi is no longer a member of the PDP. But the point is this, if you are talking about Prince Dr. Babayemi's right to approach the court, he has every right as a citizen of Nigeria to approach the courts. And having approached the court, the Federal High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the courts concurrently held that he did not have any local standard, sanity should have prevailed on him that as a dedicated and committed party man, he should have stopped at that by not rocking the boat, particularly when election had been held and a winner emerged.
Ahead of the official flag-off of Nigeria's 2023 electioneering campaign on September 28, 2022, Christians have been advised not to trivialize their political choices by religious sentiment. Instead, the Christians are being urged to focus on the credibility, manifesto, and the electoral value of a candidate. Salis Lawan has details.
Recently, Tinubu Shatima presidential ticket has generated concern in the APC and among Nigerians. Chieftains of the party are unhappy with the decision to fill the Sanford ticket for the 2023 general election. But for some religious leaders, hold a contrary view. They believe it is time for Nigerians to embrace new ideals which uphold integrity and achievement rather than religious sentiment.
These men are God-fearing. I don't think I should have any skin pains in my heart, either to have any doubt. As far as they are God-fearing, they will be sincere. They will be honest. They don't have tribalism. Christian community is that we should remember that we are one. And I call all other Muslims, we should remember that we are one. But my message to pass to the northern Christians and Muslims, let's cast our mind back 30 years back. When somebody will travel from here to Sokoto and your car will have a breakdown on the way, you don't have a pinch. You will just open the door and sleep fine. Nobody will touch you. And when you hear somewhere that now they are now calling Allah Akbar, you will just go there direct. They will ask you, a stranger, what is happening? You say, I'm just on transit. They will give you food, give you accommodation, and escort you in the morning, without even asking you whether you are Muslim or Christian. So we should ask ourselves, where is that first love that we Nigerian and the northerners in Nigeria were sharing before?
His views align with those exposed by former Minister of Communications Adebayo Shutu during his interview on Daily Politics, a current affairs program of Trust TV. The former minister stresses that the idea of single ticket is beyond religious interests.
For me, every crisis, every disagreement, seeming disagreement within a political party is not a strange thing. Because political parties are parties made up of free joiners and free leavers. People are getting to understand the situation. Let me also re-emphasize, Tinubu was not picked as a presidential candidate because he's a Yoruba man or because he's a Muslim. It is because of his antecedent within politics and within the party. And Kashim Shettima was not also picked because he's a Muslim, but because of his antecedent.
Expert predicts the 2023 elections will be the keenest computed polls in Nigeria's recent history, going by development in the polity. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
Bandits on Friday invaded the Jumat Mosque in Zugu community in Zamfara State and abducted a yet-to-be-confirmed number of worshippers. According to Zagazola Makama, a counter-terrorism publication, the bandits disguised themselves as worshippers and invaded the central mosque in Zugu town at about 1:30 p.m. on Friday. Abdul Karim Biliaminu, a resident, also reportedly said the deputy chief imam was among those kidnapped by the gunmen. Zamfara police spokesperson Shehu Muhammad confirmed the attack on the village, but said the command has not been able to ascertain if it was a mosque that was invaded, as the community is in a remote location. The spokesman said no one was killed in the attack, adding that the number of abducted persons is yet to be known. 10 buildings have been consumed by fire at a tanker after a tanker laden with 45,000 liters of Pememoto spirits crashed, spilling its content at Ifo in Ogun State. A statement issued on Saturday in Lagos by the Zonal Coordinator Southwest of the National Emergency Management Agency, Nema Ibrahim Farin Lawyer, said the incident occurred at about 7 a.m. on Olambe Matogun Road, Ifo. According to the statement, though no life was lost or any injury sustained, about 10 buildings were consumed in the incident. Nema said the situation was mitigated, with most of the contents spilling into the canal close to the scene. The NEMA official, however, added that the fire had been put out. You're watching News Update on Trust Television. Coming up after the break. FCT residents lament high cost of house rent. To stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Update on Trust Television. A recap of our top stories. ADC suspends presidential candidate Kachiku over alleged misconduct. And bandits invade mosque, abduct deputy chief imam, dozens of worshippers in Zamfara State. And moving to other stories now, access to medical services is a major necessity of human life. However, Nigerians have different preferences about where to access healthcare, as some prefer hospitals, while others demand services in pharmacies or patent medicine stores. Ibrahim Ismail examines the implications of accessing medical services in hospital, pharmacies, or from medicine stores.
A pharmacy is an establishment that has professionals who administer drugs based on prescriptions given by a medical doctor, while patent medicine vendors may not necessarily have professional training but sell over-the-counter drugs.
Patent and proprietary medicine vendors. One of the main aims of establishing some of these health institutions is to help ease the access of medicine to the public. However, there are so many benefits of these things as well as implications or disadvantages. The essence of constituting or allowing for the medicine stores, as it were, or medicine vendors, is so that people can have access to drugs that you do not necessarily need a prescription from a doctor to have them.
A medicine vendor also speaks on the development.
We are not selling the drugs without prescription. You cannot come and tell us to give you some drugs without prescription and give you. We can't do that here.
We speak to some Nigerians in Gombe State on their preferred point of accessing medicine, hospital, pharmacy, or patent medicine.
When you are feeling like headache, you will prepare to go to chemist because you know headache, whenever you take paracetamol or other pain relievers, it will be okay for you. This is one of the reasons why I go to chemist whenever I'm feeling slight. Maybe I'm a little bit stressed up.
I used to go to hospital whenever I am sick, and I prefer a primary healthcare center. I get better services there than a big hospital. From the testimonies of these respondents, many Nigerians preferred accessing medicine at patent medicine or drug vendors. Dr. Dangana said many people preferred medicine vendors than hospital for financial reasons, despite the consequences involved.
It's very possible for you to have a problem that does not need antibiotics, and then you go over the counter and you go to them and say, I want Augmentin, I want amoxicillin, I want erythromycin, I want whatever, and then they will dispense these drugs to you. Now, when you don't need those drugs and you take them, you are creating a situation whereby in the future we're going to have a problem with resistance. Not to talk about the side effect of these drugs on you. What about the issue of dosages for children and for adults?
Dr. Dangana called on the federal government to provide health insurance services to all Nigerians through universal health coverage to discourage people from consuming drugs obtained without prescription from medical professionals. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Nigerians have continued to express dissatisfaction over the high cost of living in the country. Many of the view that if something is not done to ameliorate the plight of Nigerians and their sufferings, the country might become unbearable for people to live. The report.
Worsening insecurity, rising unemployment, harsh economic conditions, and skyrocketing prices of goods and services are among many problems Nigerians contend with. Many Nigerians, though with vast and varied opinions, seem to agree that getting on with their daily lives has been pretty difficult, and indeed that the country is in their situation. This resident re-echo calls for government to rise to the occasion.
Every day today, when you get to the market today, tomorrow you discover what you price or what you intend buying. As in financial capacity might not be, the price is not the same.
Very frightening because one has never experienced a thing like this. Are you talking about the cost of things? Almost everything, from essential to non-essential.
If you enter markets today, whatever thing you are able to avoid, buy it. If you decided to postpone it, by the time you go back the following day, you might not be able to buy that quantity again.
And the cost of living, even to eat, is going to be a problem to all masses in this country.
Painting a gloomy picture of how the situation confronting the average Nigerian is at the moment, a lecturer at the College of Business and Management Studies, Kaduna Polytechnic, Abubakar Umar, said it cannot be disputed that the country is facing an existential problem occasioned by the worsening economic situation.
But that of Nigeria is so unique and so disproportionate with the global happenings. You see, that of Nigeria has become so unique in the sense that productivity has collapsed more than the global average. The rate at which people get engaged and get employment also reduced compared to the global average. And all this as a result of the poor and then decay infrastructure in Nigeria.
The consensus is that the need for improvement of standard of living and national policies in order to rejuvenate the economy is imperative.
So government have to wake up. They have to wake up so that people will feel the impact of governance.
There's a way we can put a price control on all those things. I remember some years back we have done something like a price control in Nigeria.
Let us continue praying to the Almighty Allah so that when we continue praying to the Almighty Allah, I know things is going to come back the way that we are not going to expect.
There's no industry, there's no sector of the economy that can strive with poor electricity supply. In Nigeria, this is what's happening. And most of the industries in Nigeria, where they're supposed to provide succor to Nigerians, where they can get a living, they've collapsed.
Though the situation appears helpless, these Nigerians are optimistic the situation will change for the better. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The high cost of house rents in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, has become a source of concern as millions of families find it hard to afford decent homes or pay their yearly rent from their annual earnings. The high cost of bills, especially the house rent, is eating up to 80% of annual income of both young and old Nigerians. Nana Mohammed has more on that story.
Families face fights for survival in makeshift homes, while young people spend most of their income paying house rents without an option to save for the future. Every day, the number of people struggling to make a living from makeshift homes is increasing due to the ever-growing inflation. The National Bureau of Statistics says Nigerians' inflation rate increased to 19.64% in July 2022 alone, throwing dozens of families into difficulty. Halima Isa is a petty trader and a mother of 10 who has been living in Abuja for 15 years. She cannot afford to pay for a house and lives in a makeshift shelter made of zinc. I am a petty trader. I sell food by the roadside to support my family income, but we are still struggling with poverty. I pray that my life and that of my family change for the better, but from the look of things, I am losing hope. Over the years, she has worked hard to train her children in school to guarantee a better future, but the vision she hoped for and looked forward to looks blurry. Every day I go out and see all these beautiful houses. I pray to God to provide the same for my family or for my children in the near future. That is why I work hard to train my children in school for our life to improve for the better. Some young people between the ages of 30 and below lament that house rent takes more than 80% of their yearly income.
I think the most high is the house rent, because the house rent is really something else right now.
What we are getting is very little and everything is expensive.
To address the housing deficit in Abuja, an estate developer is suggesting that government partners with the private sector.
When it comes to housing within the city center, I can tell you the issue of affordability becomes a matter of class in terms of who can afford it in such a location and where. The government alone cannot take the responsibility solely to provide housing. They should partner, or they are supposed to partner with real estate developers in the private sector to be able to solve the issue of housing deficit in Nigeria.
The rapidly growing population and constantly rising inflation is dimming the hope of low-income earners that they can own a decent home. The population of homeless people in Abuja is projected to reach 5 million mark in the next 1 year due to high cost of living. Nana Muhammad, Trust TV News, Abuja.
On the foreign scene, Russians on Saturday paid their final respect to the last leader of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, in a ceremony held in Moscow without much fanfare and with President Vladimir Putin notably absent. Several thousands of mourners queued up to quietly file past Gorbachev's open casket as it was flanked by honor guards under the Russian flag in the historic Hall of Columns. The hall has long been used for the funerals of high officials in Russia, and it was where the body of Joseph Stalin first lay in the state during 4 days of national mourning after his death in 1953. With Russia facing increasing international isolation over its military action in Ukraine, many of those in attendance pointed to Gorbachev's opening of the country to the rest of the world. In sports news, France on Friday launched a criminal investigation into claims by World Cup winner Paul Pogba that he is the victim of a multi-million euro blackmail plot by gangsters involving his brother, the Paris prosecutor said. Investigating magistrates have been appointed to lead the probe, prosecutor Laurie Bacour said in a statement. Now, based on the findings of a preliminary investigation launched last month, it will examine allegations against persons unknown, including blackmail by an armed gang, kidnapping, and membership of a criminal conspiracy, she said, confirming a weekend statement from a judicial source. Pogba's allegation came after his brother Matthias published a bizarre video online in French, Italian, English, and Spanish, promising great revelations about the Juventus star. According to two sources close to the Pogba family contacted by AFP, large sums of money are being demanded from Paul Pogba if he wants to avoid dissemination of the allegedly compromising video. And with our story on Paul Pogba, we have come to the end of News Update this hour. For more, do connect with us across all our social media platforms. I am Nten Ekpang. Many thanks for watching.